Neelkant Munjal, Joint MD of Hero MotoCorp, joins us on the show from New Delhi. Good having you. Thanks much for joining in. How do you view the general investor sentiment in the country, and with politics out to get economic growth? The parliament hasn't functioned properly for some time now. How does this impact, of course, your own company as well?
It's clear that for a while now, people have been upset with the lack of new policy making and lack of reform measures which are already lined up actually getting implemented. And partially you could see because of the politics of the day and the way the parliament has functioned or not functioned. So when the action has started taking place over the last few months, I think that's been very encouraging for industry within India and overseas. And generally for the economy, one can see that this looks like a point from which you can turn around and start to improve.
Mr. Munjal, good morning. The markets have rallied quite a bit as well. Do you see this as a thumbs up coming in from investors, or do you think this is largely because of the government agreeing to vote on FDI in Parliament? How have you read it?
I don't think there's any one person expert enough to figure out how the market functions, by the way. But one of the things which clearly seems to be is a sense of comfort and confidence that some of the measures which had been held up seem to be moving forward. The current one seems to be on the response to the FDI announcements. It appears that since the parliament is functioning, that we will have a debate, and hopefully the debate will get resolved and we will move on. Because there's so much good work to be done right now. It actually upsets the market when the whole system just comes to a stop.
The manufacturing sector has seen very stunted growth over the last few months. I mean, very marginal upsides. The notional manufacturing zones are also not getting quick implementation. How do you see the manufacturing sector performing in the coming few months?
I think there are two aspects to this. One, as you said, in the very short term, we have had a slowdown in manufacturing. But if you actually look at it objectively and take a step back, compare ourselves with the rest of the world, we are actually still much, much better off. Having said that, it's not good enough for us because we as a country need higher growth, we need more employment. So for us, manufacturing sector is a critical one at this moment to find a way to promote. And we need to do that by bringing in GST. We need to do that, as you said, by getting the national manufacturing zones off the ground. The ideas which we have right now on the table are very, very good. And I hope they will get implemented. We, of course, have some long pending issues still not resolved, which is lack of physical infrastructure, shortage of power supply, and also issues on labor reform, etc. But in spite of that, if the current ones can get off the ground, I think we will see an improvement.
Right, Mr. Munjal, the auto sector has also significantly slowed down. The budget is as well around the corner. What are your list of demands for the betterment of the sector?
The auto sector, again, I think it's a reflection of the economy as a whole, and both cost of funding and availability of funding for the consumers and for dealers, which has affected the offtake in the automotive sector. The expectation of the government right now is, as I said earlier, to continue the reform which has been pending, to allow the tax rates to get easier if we can on depreciation, to not raise any excise duties as we had heard some time back, and to actually announce a roadmap for GST, in fact switch over to GST, which would be truly beneficial for the entire country, economy, government, industry and consumers, because it's likely to create both growth and jobs.
And to what extent are you willing to support the government in its reform drive? I mean, with the opposition completely pushing it against the wall, at least that's what the general belief seems to be.
I think in the kind of democracy we have, you will always have varying points of view, and which is fine. But what is not okay is for the process to come to a stop and the different parts of the political spectrum not to be able to function together to find solutions. I think that's one area in which we are all hoping we will see forward movement between the government and the opposing parties.